everybody, this is Fred at Personal Time Outdoors. Welcome back to the channel. I am on my way down to someplace I've been wanting to get to for quite a while and haven't been able to, and that is Mohican State Park. And I'm planning on doing at least a one-night backpacking trip. I was kind of originally hoping to be able to do 2 nights, but the weather for the second night doesn't look too great. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to kind of keep my eye on the forecast and kind of play it by ear. They're calling for like possibly severe thunderstorms, so I don't want to be out there in a severe thunderstorm. So if it looks like that's going to happen, I might just make it a one-night trip. But at any rate, I should be good for tonight at least. Now, the one thing about Mohican that's probably not the greatest is that they've got what they call their park and pack sites, camping sites, and those are actually free to use. And the way that it works is they have a kiosk there that you have to visit, when you first get to the park, and you have to kind of look at a board and see if a site's open, and if a site's open, then you go ahead and you sign yourself up for it and mark down, what day you're going to be there. The bad thing about that is there's no way to do that ahead of time, so you don't really know if there is a site available till you actually get there. And right now they have 7 sites total. There used to be 10 sites, but 2 years ago there was a tornado that went through Mohican and made a real mess. And they actually had all the sites closed up until just recently, so they were closed for almost 2 years. Because they had a lot of debris that they had to clear out, and they had the trails closed. So since then they've reopened 7 of the sites, but 3 of them are still closed, and I'm not really sure if they're planning to open those 3 again or if they're going to remain closed permanently. Hopefully at some point they do reopen them, but at any rate, right now I've got my best chance is to try to get one of 7 sites. So the thing that stinks about that is, for me, I got to drive an hour and a half to get down there. If there is not a site available to me, then it's going to kind of be a wasted trip. So I kind of wish I'd totally be willing to pay a reasonable fee for a campsite if I could reserve it online and be sure that there's one available. And I wish that is something that the park would move to. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. If you've been to Mohican, what do you think about that? Do you like the idea of them being free, but just first come, first serve? Or would you rather pay a small fee and, be able to reserve the site? My thinking is that the park could use that money to help maintain the sites then, or something like that. So anyway, that's the one thing that I wish. So anyway, I should be there in about an hour, and when I get to the kiosk, I'll bring you guys back. So this is the kiosk I was telling you about, where you sign up for this site. Looking at the little clipboard here, it looks like the best option for me is going to be site number 4, so that's the one I signed up for. So all I need to do now is fill out this little form and put it in the little mailbox here. So I think I managed to find the trailhead here. I had other people had told me that it's not super well marked, but that sign that I just showed you, if you walk directly behind it, you'll see the trail kind of veers off to the right. So, and looking at my GPS map that I set up, it looks like I am on the trail. The actual campsite that I got is really not that far in. It's on the red trail. What I think I'm gonna do, instead of hiking directly to the campsite, I am gonna just hike around the whole red trail. I guess it would be in a counterclockwise direction, and I don't want to get to campsite before lunchtime. It would be kind of boring, so might as well do some hiking while I'm out here. So the one thing about these trails back through here, the blue trail, the red trail, the yellow trail, They are, in addition to hiking trails, they are bridle trails. So there is a fair amount of horse manure, as you would expect, as you see on any bridle trail. So when doing my research about coming to Mohican, one of the things that I learned is that even with filtering, you should avoid drinking water from the stream here, because when it rains, all the runoff carries the remnants of that horse manure down into the waterways. So unfortunately, that means I got to carry all my water. So I've brought 3 liters of water with me for this weekend or these couple days, and so my pack's a little on the heavy side. I weighed it just before I left, and it weighed in. That includes water and food and fuel and everything. Was 34 pounds. So a little heavier on the heavier side because I am carrying all that extra water, but I'd rather do that than take a chance on getting sick. Well, here's my first stream crossing. I kind of figured with all the rain we had this week that there wasn't going to be any rock hopping going on, so I guess I'm getting my feet wet. This is just absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how well it comes out on the camera, but the sunlight coming through those trees like that just looks fantastic. So this sign is telling me that I'm going to be going into the area that was damaged by the tornado that I was telling you about earlier. So this ought to be interesting. So far, I really haven't seen a whole lot of damage. I mean, there were a few downed trees that you could tell that, had been cleared off the trail, but some of the other pictures I've seen from at that time, the devastation was pretty significant. So this ought to be interesting to see what it looks like up here. So you can see how wide open this is here. Obviously, this used to all be dense forest, just like what I've been walking through. So you can see that this tornado just leveled this entire area. It's just crazy. I guess it's understandable why it took them 2 years to open these trails back up. This had to be completely covered with trees, down trees. Oh my gosh. This is the wiki up that has been here for years. I was here, I think, maybe a couple months before the tornado with my wife and her cousin and her cousin's wife. And we walked through this area, and we walked down and checked out like some of the campsites, like campsite 3 and campsite 2. And this was all forest, all big tree forest. I can't believe this wiki up was here. I remember it when we hiked it. We came in from this direction, and then we hiked down there. And with that tornado, why is this still here, but all these trees went? That's just crazy. So I started moving away from the tornado damaged area. And just to give you guys some context, that area that I walked through with all the trees down and it was wide open, used to look just like this part of the trail. This is what it looked like when I came here before that tornado hit. Unbelievable. So here's my second stream crossing for the day, second and last. So I am working my way up this hill here. I'm actually almost to my campsite. So I don't know, I've probably been hiking maybe, I don't know, hour and a half or something like that. Just kind of taking my time, you know, obviously filming stuff, so just enjoying the day. It's absolutely beautiful out here. One thing I just want to bring up, for those who might not know, I just passed a person on horseback, and like I mentioned earlier, these are bridle trails as well as hiking trails, so that's bound to happen. And if you're not familiar with it, whenever you are having a horse pass you, the best thing to do, step off to the side of the trail, say hi to the person riding the horse. That kind of lets the horse know that you're not threatening, and just stand still. And especially do not wave your trekking poles around, because that could spook the horse and it could throw the rider. So if you're out here hiking and you see somebody on horseback, just try to remember to do that and everything will be great. Okay, it looks like I made it to site 4. It looks like this is going to be home sweet home. So I got my tent all set up, and I am going to go ahead and have some lunch here. I think what I'm going to do is have some peanut butter and honey wraps. I brought some tortillas, and I got a couple of the travel peanut butter packets, and I brought some honey from the honeyest one, so I'm going to go ahead and get these going. I brought along an extra tarp. Like I said, there is some rain in the forecast tomorrow, so I figured that this would give me a place to sit and cook or whatever, and not have to be confined to my tent if it starts coming down. So hopefully that'll give me just enough shelter to stay out of the rain if I need it. kind of fiddled with my tarp, and I think I got it set up pretty good right now. I kind of did the best I can. You're kind of limited into where the trees are positioned, and they're never in the perfect spot, so you do the best you can. But I used a bunch of different knots here. A lot of them I learned back, from when I was, involved with scouting. So I've got a trucker's hitch over here, on the main ridge line, and then over on the far end, it's connected to that tree with two half hitches. And then these lines here are connected to these trees. I've got taut line hitches, and then two half hitches actually at the tarp, but then taut line hitches by the tree so that I could adjust tension. And the same with these stakes in the back. I've got two half hitches at the grommet of the tarp, and then a taut line hitch down by the stake so that I can go ahead and adjust the tension on it. So far it seems like it's working pretty good. That's one thing I would say if you're going to do any kind of camping or kind of backpacking. Learn yourself a few knots. They come in really handy if you know what you're doing. I've actually got a couple of videos on my channel about some basic camping knots. They were some of the earlier videos that I did, where I've got, several knots there. If you want to take a look at those, feel free, and hopefully you can learn a couple little knots that might help you set up something like this next time you go. So I've just been sitting here relaxing, just kind of really enjoying being out here in the woods again. This is actually a really nice campsite. The bridle trail, though, the trail that leads us to where this campsite is, though, is actually just right over there. So I have seen, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times I've seen people go by on horseback. But other than that, it's been really quiet. I mean, I am here during the week, so that probably helps. I imagine on the weekend you're probably going to see a lot more people going by. But all in all, it's pretty secluded. It's pretty quiet. It's pretty nice. So I packed in my silky saw, and I just been spending the last, I don't know, half hour or so processing some firewood for tonight's fire. There is a toad in my fire pit. Pretty soon, he's probably not going to like it in there. One bad thing about this site is there is a widowmaker here, and it's this tree right here. I really don't like the looks of it. But it is leaning out towards that way pretty significantly. The tree does have a lean to it. And my tent is over on this side here. So if that thing goes over, hopefully it'll go away from my tent, which is what I think it would do. But not that I'm anticipating a problem, but it's just something you always got to think about when you pick a campsite. Before you set your tent up, look up and see if you're picking the best spot. And if you see something that doesn't look safe to you, it looks like it could fall down, move your tent to a different spot where you think you might be safer. So for dinner tonight, I have something that I dehydrated myself at home. It's some pasta with ground beef and tomato sauce. So I did test it out before I brought it out camping, and it's pretty good. So I'm looking forward to it. So that's what it looks like before I add the hot water to it, just like any other dehydrated meal that you might buy. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to put it in this koozie that I made to help keep it warm and help it rehydrate better. Just give it a good mix to start with. And then I'll seal it up and put it in the koozie. So it'll take about 20 minutes to rehydrate. What you do is after you mix it up and you put it in the koozie, you let it sit for like 10 minutes. And then open it up and give it another stir, seal it back up, and let it sit for another 10 minutes, and then it should be good to go. So as I'm sitting here waiting for my dinner to rehydrate, I've been thinking about whether or not I'm going to be staying for a second night. And there's a couple of issues. So I've been checking the weather forecast, and it looks like those thunderstorms are going to be moving in tomorrow morning. So in fact, it'll probably already be raining about the time I get up. And so that's one issue. The other issue is I am starting to actually get a little bit low on water. I've pretty much used 2 of my liters, so I got 1 liter left. So I don't think that that would be enough to take me for a whole nother day. So that said, I think those 2 things combined have kind of made a decision for me. I'm going to probably be making this a one-nighter, but that's okay. All right, it should be done. Let's see how we did here. Oh yeah, that rehydrated perfectly. What you do is, you know, when you buy the store-bought freeze-dried meals, they tell you how much water to put in. And when you're kind of doing the DIY thing, it's hard to know because you're not going to get, exact quantities. So what they tell you to do is just cover the food so that it's just covered with the boiling water, and that should be enough. And it seems to work. Boy, this bag is still hot to hold. Looks pretty good. Bon appetit. Hey, it's still hot. Wow, is that good? That is really good. So as I was sitting here, it actually started drizzling a little bit. Just a very, very fine mist. I don't think it was enough to make my firewood all wet or anything like that, but the skies have become kind of overcast, so I can tell that the weather that's predicted for tomorrow morning is on its way in. Looks like it's probably going to hit maybe about 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or something like that. But sometimes those things have a way of moving up and coming in faster. So let's hope that's not the case. I'd really like to get a fire in tonight. That would be really nice before I go to bed. I've camped in the rain a lot. Back when I was doing scouts with my kids, it seemed like just about every single camp out that we went on there for a while, it rained. It was kind of the running joke that if we weren't camping and we looked outside and we saw a rainstorm, we would all say to each other, hey, we could have gone camping. So I know how to deal with rain. That's not an issue for me. I don't mind that. But thunderstorms, that's another story. In my mind, a thunderstorm is the kind of thing that you only camp through if you have to. And I don't really have to camp through a thunderstorm tonight or tomorrow. So I'm not gonna. And I'm actually not that far away from the car. I hiked most of the red trail today, so I probably only have, I don't know, I'm guessing maybe a mile, mile and a half back to the car, so it won't be that bad in the morning when I hike out. Well, it looks like I got my fire going pretty good so far. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up filming for tonight and just sit here and enjoy my fire for the rest of the evening, and I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Well, as predicted, the rain did roll in last night. So far there hasn't been any thunder. It's actually been kind of a mild rain. But my biggest issue now is that I am almost out of water. I used 1 cup to make myself a cup of tea for this morning, and after I poured that, this is all that I had left. So I'm not gonna make my traditional oatmeal for breakfast because I don't want to use any more water. I want to have something to drink while I'm hiking out of here. Since I can't have my oatmeal, I guess I'm reduced to for breakfast I am just going to have I've got a peanut butter biscuit and some trail mix, so that's going to have to do. Fortunately, I did stash some drinks in the car, so when I get back to the car I do have something to drink for the ride home. One good thing about the rain is at least I don't have to waste my last little bit of water to try to dampen out my fire remnants from last night. Had a little bit of a minor annoyance last night, so I don't know, it was probably about 9:15. It was like 4 or 5 people come walking into my campsite, and you could tell they were younger. I want to say they're teenagers or maybe in their 20s, and they had backpacks on. And one of them says, "Oh, is this the campsite?" And I think it was a female, said, "Yes, it is." So I'm just kind of sitting there by my campfire, and I go, "Can I help you guys?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we're just here for the campsite." And I said, "Well, is there a specific campsite you're looking for?" And they said no. And I said, "Well, you know you have to sign up and register for these campsites." And the one girl says, "Well, no, you don't." I said, "Well, yes." I go, "There's a kiosk over by the Forest Servicery building where you're supposed to, sign in on a clipboard and look and see if a site's been taken." And went through the whole thing with her, and she says, "Oh yeah, I know, you have to fill out paperwork, but you don't have to reserve them." Which, that doesn't even make any sense to me. So she says, "Well, we're not going to camp right here by you. We're going to go down over there. This is a really big campsite." Well, I didn't want to get into it, but you're not supposed to just camp off in the side areas. You're supposed to stay, within so much distance of the marker that's in the campsite that has the campsite number on it. So, at any rate, it was past dark. They went down. They're all the way down at that end over this way. So I don't know, I really didn't hear them, but it's just kind of annoying because, my name is now on the clipboard for this campsite. So if there's a problem over there, they cause a problem, guess who the Forest Service is going to be calling? So I don't know, I guess it's just important to remember that, when you go camping somewhere, you really should research it a little bit and look into what the rules are, what the regulations are, because, that kind of ruined my night a little bit. I think what my plan of attack is going to be is I'm going to get everything out of my tent, take my pack, get over here, put it underneath my tarp where I can pack it up someplace dry, and then I will pack up the tent, and then I will pack up the tarp last, and I should be able to get out of here. Alright, so camp is all cleaned up, everything is packed up, and I am ready to start hiking out of here. I just do one last quick check around and make sure I didn't leave anything, and I will be on my way. Alright guys, I am on my way out, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because it's raining pretty good and I don't want to leave my phone out to be recording. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And I had a really great time down here at Mohican this weekend. And if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could like and subscribe and do all those kinds of things. And I will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.